Okay, so the whole government emergency alert systems got me thinking, what would you do if the world was about to end or life as we know it came to an end and there was like a zombie apocalypse or chaos broke out? What would you do? So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Welcome to Stephen Speak the podcast. Unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. Well, today I'm mostly sipping coffee out of my thermos flask from a coffee that I bought this morning, I might add, and I reheated it in the microwave 7.5 hours later to drink the rest of it. Don't judge me. In fact, do. I don't care. Judge me. I cannot. I care not a jot. I love the word jot. I care not a jot. Anyway, yeah, today's episode, I downloaded a subject generator on my phone because I really didn't know what to speak about today. I had a few subjects in mind, and my brain's been terrible today. I don't know what's going on with me. I literally have had terrible trouble focusing on anything all week. It may be because Sarah's in hospital and I'm worried about her or something. She's fine, don't worry. She's in just because of a CF. She's in the best place. But I think maybe that's been playing on my mind, and I don't know. Anyway, so I thought I'd download like a random generator of a subject, and one of them was shit. It was just terrible. It was like, it must have been like an AI thing, and it was just like stringing random words together, which was not helpful. But another one actually came up with a subject that I thought, yes. And it's something I've thought about before about doing a podcast on, and actually had forgotten about. So, and then I thought actually it kind of links to the extra speak that we've just had on Wednesday. God, what day is it today? It's Friday. I'm recording this a little bit early because I'm going away this weekend. Yeah. So jeez, first word sounds like so the podcast on Wednesday, extra speak, was about the emergency broadcast system, I think. If it wasn't, I apologise. It would be the week before. I should have checked. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, 26th of April, which was 2 days ago. Probably should remember that. Called Danger Will Robinson Danger. It's about the emergency broadcast system the UK's brought out, which will send an alert direct to your mobile phone should there be an event. So they've marketed this kind of like as weather and stuff like that. So bad weather, flooding, blah blah. Everyone's thinking it's for nuclear holocaust, aren't they? Like, let's face it, everyone's thinking it's about the big bad dropping a bomb on us. And to be honest, if we get an alert on our phone, it's going to mean little if that's the case. Especially if you're in a place where it's going to be bombed. Anyway, I'm not getting into that. I'm not trying to even think about that. But there's a lot of apocalypse films, post-apocalyptic things. Normally about zombies, to be honest. And I don't mind using that as an example. But there's obviously post-nuclear wars. I can't think of any films, actually. Like, my mind's gone blank. So I suppose like Terminator's probably the big one, isn't it? So, Matrix as well, spoiler alert. Where the world's gone to shit, basically, and the world is a shithole, and everyone's fending for themselves. What was that one with the dragons? That was a weirdly post-apocalyptic film, but with dragons. Christian Bale was in it. Oh my god, that's gonna annoy me. That's gonna really annoy me. It's quite a good film as I remember. I think the CGI in it is actually really good for the time. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so it just got me thinking, like, it's kind of like a bit like a desert island situation, but doom and gloom, isn't it? But yeah, I always think that if the big bad happened, or you got an alert, or things started to go down, like there was a mysterious disease, or I don't know, like zombies did appear. Because I've not seen The Last of Us, and I'm not actually playing the game, but I believe The Last of Us zombies aren't like proper zombies. It's a fungal thing, which makes them into zombies, and that's a real thing. Like fungus that like take over your mind is like a real thing. So technically, that could happen, I suppose. I don't know, not a scientist. Anyway, my thing is what would you do, and what would I do is if that alert came through on the phone and said the big bad's happened, X, Y, Z's happened. What would you do? Where would you go? How would you feel? And I'm not necessarily saying the world's going to end tomorrow, but how would you how would you react to that? Because I always feel like I'd be quite a good survivalist, but then when you actually think about it, I kind of think I don't really know skills. Like I've watched Ray Mears and Bear Grylls a little bit. I don't really like Bear Grylls that much, to be honest. Controversial, I know, but like for me, Ray Mears is the original OG survivalist. Um, but yeah, I just feel that I think we'd all be screwed because we just rely on things being given to us so much. So like you turn your plug socket on and you've got your phone and like information is fed towards you all the time. Your power is fed straight to your home. Your water's, clean, fresh water is just on tap, literally. And we're never like that far from a shop in most places, especially in England and Britain. Like if you go some places in Wales, you might be a few miles from a shop, maybe 10, 15 miles, maybe a little bit more in places, depending where you are. Scotland, you might be 50 miles from somewhere, 60, 70 miles from somewhere. But never like, you're never that remote where you think, I'm unless you're on top of a mountain, but you're never kind of that remote that you think I can't get somewhere in reasonable time to get something. But if all infrastructure like stopped, if all the power stations shut down and water facilities shut down, gas plants, etc., like we'd be buggered, wouldn't we? Like if you really think about it, like I know how to start a fire, but I very rarely successfully start a fire, and it really freaking annoys me. We've stayed in a couple of places, me and Sarah have, where they've got open fires, and what are they bloody called? Like, oh, they've got a name, like a chimney bloody thing, like a stove, or like a wooden burning stove thing. And I know exactly the process, like logically, know how to do it. And I have done it, don't get me wrong, but it always takes me a while to do it, and it really annoys me that I just can't go bang and light it. I'm obviously doing something wrong in the process. I'm getting better at it. Maybe it's practice. I don't know. But yeah, just something as simple as lighting a fire to keep yourself warm, building a shelter, um, all stuff like that is something that becomes really, really vital if all goes wrong. Obviously, I have a house now, um, but would I be able to stay here? Like that's the thing, isn't it? If you could stay in your own house and society broke down, like you don't have to worry about paying your mortgage anymore. Let's face it, money becomes like worthless to a degree. You don't have to go work anymore, so you would probably have to like fortify your house because people would become feral. Um, Not Will Ferrell. They would become animals, wouldn't they? Because the people that haven't got what you have would want what you have, and I think it'd be quite good from a psychological point of view to study that. I'm sure, but to live it would be a vastly different thing. Um, but yeah, because in the film I Am Legend, great film by the way. The book is a lot better. Read the book, which is the normal thing. It was also was it the Gemini Man? Was the original film adaptation, which in parts is close to the book, to be honest. In other parts it isn't. Weird. And there's a very famous guy in that who was in Planet of the Apes. I can't think of his name. He was also in loads of other stuff. What's his name? And big into guns. Charlton Heston. Got there in the end. Was he in it? Yes, I think he was. So the remake was called I'm Legend, and in that film, Will Smith makes himself basically barricades himself into his own house, makes like it as a fortress, and I think that's what most people would probably try and do in like a zombie apocalypse kind of thing. A nuclear disaster would be a little bit different because it all depends where you are when that happens. If you're nowhere near it, I suppose life would kind of carry on. But when you'd be near it, I suppose it'd be like multiple nuclear strikes would be the thing, wouldn't it? A bit like in Terminator, where basically every major city gets bombed, and yeah, there's just like a mass move to the countryside, and then that would cause like infighting and stuff like that. Sorry, I just breathed really heavily down the microphone. I will get through an episode with no mistakes. Promise. One day, the professionalism will arrive. I'll be fine. I won't slurp coffee or Pepsi while I'm doing it. I won't fall off my chair. I won't drop things. Trust me. Obviously, my podcast would probably stop actually if it was an apocalypse. That would matter not a jot too, would it? Or maybe I could. Maybe I could keep it going. It could be the zombie apocalypse pod. Or trying to think of like a snazzy name that could be. But I can't. I'm not that quick a thinker with stuff like that. Answers on a postcard. But yeah, but there's another like natural disaster kind of thing. There's another like disaster scenario, isn't it? There's like natural disasters, like in The Day After Tomorrow, Deep Impact, and all them films where it's kind of like a natural, I suppose, space disaster where we get hit by a meteor or extreme weather, etc. What's the other one that's weather based? Am I thinking of that? Because there's Day After Tomorrow, and then there's that one where there's John Cusack's in. Oh my god, my brain is. I can remember people's name apparently, but not the film. That's a pretty good film, and they build like big arcs, don't they, to ride the rising tides and all that sort of stuff. But I suppose that's kind of how it'd be played out as well. There's if you've got money, you've probably got facilities to bugger off to. If not, the minions have to scrape around for themselves. Yeah, I just so you've got three scenarios really, haven't you? Like big bad from evil war. I suppose some sort of virusy thing. COVID 2, zombies, and then I don't think zombies would be a thing, though, would they? I suppose you could get like an uprising kind of thing of like just like civil unrest, maybe, from some political stuff or just society unrest, like a revolution, and then you've got like the weather thing on you. And I think in all of them, like if you survive the initial fallout from whatever the situation was, I do believe that most of the population will probably just die within a short space of time because they can't physically look after themselves. I think if you ask most people how they could make a fire without anything to make a fire with and just literally go into the forest and get some sticks and rub them together, could they do it? I don't think genuinely most people could. I mean, I think I'd struggle, and I feel like I'm quite intelligent. I've seen it many, many times on TV, seen Ray Mears do it, but I've never physically done it myself. So it's remembering all them nuances from doing these things that is the survival thing. I mean, everyone has a survival instinct, don't they, to want to live, but that's where I think the stealing from other people would come in. You've got what I want, I can't do it myself. I'm going to either hold you to ransom to do it for me or pal up with you is probably the friendliest way to do it, is make friends and think, well, I'll utilize your skill. But I think people, when it's like the chips are down, it's easier to resort to like fear and scare tactics and violence than it is to like say, right, well, I've got this skill, you've got that skill. Let's buddy up and utilize them together. And I don't think that's something that would come to mind probably straight away for most people in that situation. I think I would probably be very much like that, but then you'd be very, very fearful of them as well, I suppose. You'd be very at arm's length. It'd be a terrible time, actually. It would be a terrible time. And I think the closest we get to it is like war-torn countries, and when we have like droughts and starvation stuff, and you see it in the African nations normally, isn't it? When we see these terrible, earthquakes and stuff, and in probably a very short, like, not as on a larger scale, but in like a very micro scale, that's probably the closest we get at the moment to something like that, where people are literally left to fend for themselves, no water, no electric, etc., no ways of communicating. And all these things we really do take for granted. Just the fact that you can just pick up a phone and phone someone on the other side of the world blows my mind a little bit, to be honest. Still, like, and again, I'm not stupid. I understand the satellites in space, geostationary satellites that beam signals around the Earth. Yeah, still, if you stop and think about it, that's pretty friggin' amazing. But yeah, I just think that that survivor in you comes out, and I feel like I'd be okay at it, but I feel like it would be a struggle. I think I have that capability to learn, but you wouldn't be able to Google anything, would you? If everything went down, you'd have no internet, no phone. And we rely on Google so much. Like, I don't actually know what I did when I was at college. Like, I had internet and stuff, but we still didn't really Google stuff because you didn't have it on your phone. It wasn't at your fingertips, so you kind of just believed people. If someone said, "Oh, such and such, it's their birthday today and they're 73." Oh, are they? Right, nice one. I thought that actor was 60. Oh no, they are 73. All right, okay then, 73 then, are they? Whereas now, we don't believe anyone, or we just Google it. You'd be so in a zombie apocalypse or something like that. If you didn't know how to light a fire or build a shelter and stuff, you couldn't Google it. You'd have to go to the library, and there'd be massive fights at libraries because everyone would be going to the source of like physical knowledge. Because the library is just a big, massive, fucking computer, isn't it? Um. Oh yeah, that's interesting, though, isn't it? That could be the case because people would be thinking, "Oh my god, I need to know how to build stuff. Let's go and get all the Ray Mears books we can, and survival guides and stuff like that." Because that's what I would do. I would definitely go. I'd be going to like get books about like what you can eat in the wild, what you can, how you purify stuff, how you purify water, shelters, all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I'd be on the survival books. I'd be on it. Maybe I should buy some now just in case. Maybe I should have a library of like survival books, how to build a shelter, how to do all these things. Maybe that's like the survival guide. Because you do see these preppers, don't you? That are prepping for like the end of the world, and some of them are like super serious, and they're prepping food, and they've got stores, and they're prepping for like they're literally prepping for like civil unrest, weather, nuclear disasters, and they're like stockpiling food. And there was a series on Netflix about it, and Sarah thought it was hilarious that I was watching it, but it was super interesting. Like listening to these people, and like they're the ones that are gonna be laughing when and if it does happen. They are the ones that will be like, um, "Told you so," and we're all right, and you're not coming in. But yeah, you see them like stockpiling freshwater reserves and ways to collect it, like solar power, and they've got like big, massive generators and batteries and absolutely incredible stuff. And like they're all fully functional. You wonder why we don't live like that now, actually, because they're living like fully off grid, and you wonder why like we can't all just like, well, I suppose we could like do that to our houses now. Um, not in case it's the end of the world. I just mean for like environmental reasons. And you see them like they've got like recycle things on the toilets where the waste like they can separate it and then they can grow plants with it and food, and they can create methane, and then the methane they can cook with to a certain degree, and amazing really. Most of them I think are a bit balmy because they do take it super serious that like I was going to say that Russia's going to invade us, but the situation in the world at the moment, um, maybe they're not so balmy. But they're very, very aware that something bad's going to happen, and a lot of them don't live in their like bunkers. Some of them have them right on the properties, so they just have to like go down the garden and get in them. And other people have to drive to them, but they have like grab and go kits and all that. And it fascinates me because it's one of the reasons I like a big car because I like to be prepared. To be honest, uh, again, not for the end of the world because I'm not thinking that's going to happen anytime soon. And I also am of the thing that if something major like that happens, you probably have a little bit of time to prepare, unless a big bomb lands on your head, and then it doesn't matter anyway, does it? But I always like to have a large car, and the car I've got at the moment isn't that big. But I do like to have a large car just so I can have stuff with me. So in my car, I normally carry like a little toolkit and rope and just random stuff that's like useful every day. Um, Well, I know where everything is. Like, I can probably put a grab and go kit together in less than an hour quite easily, and it'd be substantial. Um, yeah, yeah, if I had money, I would definitely have a nuclear shelter. I would be a prepper. I would definitely be a prepper because it costs a lot of money to do that. I don't know what the food tastes like though. That's the thing. I feel like it would be um worse than military food. Um, what do they call them? MREs, meal ready to eat. Um, yeah, I think some of them are all right. Normally the desserts are all right. I remember my dad saying when he was in the army, they used to get biscuits, and I can't remember what biscuits they were now, but he used to love them and trade them for different things. Um, yeah, I just think I feel like if I got established, I would be okay. If I got a baseline, I feel like I need to get like a survival library now. Now I've said that, is that weird? I feel like I need like how to build a shelter, you know, food stuff, wild foods, shelter, water purification, best places to camp, locate safe locations, like maybe how to do emergency first aid on yourself in certain situations and environments. Huh. I'm scaring myself now, and I need to stop it. My brain's running away with me. But I don't know how you feel about the whole like end of the world thing. When you watch a film, do you actually think that it's a possibility? I mean, the situation in the world right now, do you think it's even a possibility that the big bad might happen? Um, I think humanity is stupid enough to do something to itself, but we're also a bit selfish that we wouldn't want to at the same time. I feel so. I think anything that happens would probably be more natural based, like environmental or a big rock from outer space. And in fact, an alien invasion. That's another possibility, I suppose. Because there is a theory that any um, visiting populace of alien species um, would not be traveling that far just to say hello. So there's kind of there's that theory that if they've traveled from such a great distance away and they've seen us and gone, oh look, there's a planet over there. They've only made that journey to conquer us because it's a resource thing. Because their planet is either dying or they've overpopulated like we have and need to spread out. So they'll go, look at that planet over there. We're probably more advanced than them. Let's go and conquer it. So probably Independence Day was kind of probably right. No negotiations. Let's send these big ships down and just blow every major capital city up. And just do that progressively around all the capital cities until the world's ours. Yeah. God, imagine if that happened. Oh my god. I feel like I'm gonna have nightmares tonight now after recording this. Um, oh dear. I'm trying to think as well. Actually, if for whatever reason something happened and I had to leave my house, what would I take with me? Like, what would what would be the bare necessities? Um, you're all thinking of the song now from the Jungle Book. I know. I did the same. What would be the bare necessities? Because you couldn't take a shed load of clothes with you. It'd have to be like a few pairs of socks and underwear because you could just wash them. A couple of pairs of trousers, a couple of tops, a few t-shirts, a couple of jumpers. Warmth is the key thing, isn't it? Like keeping yourself warm, changing your socks, probably a shitload of socks, probably. Good footwear, towels. Don't go anywhere without a towel. Douglas Adams was correct. See, bandanas is the thing for me as well. Something, like a scarf or something you wear around your face, or you can multiple use for something around your head or anything. Electrical equipment is going to be really useless, isn't it? So computers for the main part and all that sort of stuff. I probably would take one with me just in case. But you'd have to really, really be finite with its use because once it had run out of battery, you wouldn't know when you could charge it again. But yeah, it would be literally the bare necessities, and then food would be the thing. I'd empty the cupboards, but I think going back to it, like the places where people would go would be like if everything came to it and they needed the stuff, it would be food, and it would be like DIY kind of supply stuff, so like camping stuff and axes and hammers and manual labor tools and libraries. I've really like surprised myself with the whole library thing there. I kind of thought about it before, but never thought it would probably be a place where people would go. Or maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they've not thought about it, and I've just told the whole world, potentially, a really good plan if this happens. And then, obviously, you'd get a grab-and-go bag, wouldn't you? Like, so, and I'd want a bigger vehicle, because if I was stranded with the vehicle I had now, I'd want a bigger vehicle, and then you'd have to fill it with fuel, so you'd have to go to the petrol station as well. So, yeah. I feel like this episode is turning me into a prepper, and I feel like I need to go. I don't know why I'm so bad today. I feel like I need to go and prep some stuff. I feel like I have become and convinced myself to become a prepper, which is scary. I haven't got you know what? I can't be. I haven't got the space for it. I've not got the space for the things I need just to survive daily, let alone to prep for something that may or may not happen. So no, restrain yourself, Steve. Restrain yourself. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about the whole end of the world stuff. What you would actually do. Would you just go out on a high? Would you just be like, you know what, sorry, I know I'm not going to survive? Would you just go? Some people would say they would just go and do crazy shit. If they knew the world was going to end, there was no chance maybe as well. If they just announced that, right, this big bloody asteroid's on its way and it's going to hit the Earth and everyone's just going to die. There's no escaping. No matter where you go in the world, everyone's dead. It's an extinction event. Like, what would you do then? I just think that I feel like I'd end up traveling. I do. I feel like I'd go and fill the tank up, get a load of fuel tanks, and I'd want to speak to my family. But I feel like I would want to travel to somewhere that's beautiful. So probably go up to the Highlands of Scotland and just drive off road and just drive up the side of a mountain in my car and just sit and wait it out. I feel like that would be the nice, just go and die in nature. I think that other people probably would commit crimes and stuff, just do the opposite to their character maybe, and just go out and just be mental and probably murder people and such things. Maybe, I don't know, would they go extreme to murder people? Maybe, if they knew there wasn't going to be any repercussions from it. The world's definitely going to end tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure there's people that have thought about doing stuff like that, and the only thing that stopped them is the thought of going to prison, which is obviously the deterrent. But I think a lot of people would just go and steal stuff and maybe just tell people what they thought of them, or it might even drive the other way to be like super nice to people and make them connections again and make peace with people that you fell out with, maybe. Interesting. So to summarize, I feel like I may survive a zombie apocalypse potentially because I think I'm a good prepper. But I'm not pretending. I haven't got the things that a prepper would get, and I feel like I've convinced myself to be a better prepper, but I can't do that because I haven't got the space. And libraries are apparently the place to go if there is an end of the world scenario, like an end of the world, not complete end of the world, but survivalist scenario, because they contain knowledge, and that's where you need to go. Oh, do you like what? You've seen these films and people setting up colonies. That's not an easy thing to do, is it? It's not. People don't get along. I feel like that is, I suppose in all the films you see as well, normally there's a conflict, so that's probably why. Yeah. And I would probably drive to the Highlands of Scotland if I knew the world was going to end and I was definitely going to die. I wonder what Sarah would think about that. I wonder if Sarah would agree with me where she'd want to do something different and would be a conflict of interest, because, we're married, we love each other. I'd want to go out with her. So who would be the one to compromise? Would she agree with my sentiment of driving somewhere pretty? I feel like she'd want to go to the seaside, to be honest, which I would kind of go along with. Anyway, it's kind of a weirdly depressing episode, but interesting for me at the same time. Hope you found that interesting and not too depressing. Let me know what you think. Hit me up. If you want to be a guest, let me know. If you know someone that wants to be a guest, let me know. Go to the website, stevenspeak.com, and there's a contact form there. But until the next episode, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.
You've been listening to Steven Speak the podcast. Thanks for listening to my unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. Visit stevenspeak.com for updates, information, and my blog. You can follow more updates on social media at StevenSpeakPC. Thanks very much, and speak to you soon.